Hello everyone, it's me, Amy B, and I'm coming to you with this Unity alignment chapter on integration, where we've been in the third eye prefrontal cortex region, which is our habit forming watchtower and rhythmic center. So super important, because everything that we do, it feeds through this watchtower and then becomes either a habit or part of our decision-making process for the future, which is why we've had this whole chapter on this region and how to tune into your intuition. So you've caught me here in one of my daily practices, which is being in peace and quiet. And although a lot of people do bring in meditation and yoga into their daily practice, which is beautiful, and I really hope that you've been getting a lot out of that during this series. One of the best things that you can do for yourself, if you're feeling it's all quite a lot of a commitment, I don't have 15 minutes every day, I find it difficult to get motivated to try something new, is just to simply make a daily practice of yourself to sit in peace. If you can only manage 1 minute, that is a great start, and you'll actually be surprised at how quickly a minute goes, and then you'll move into 5 minutes perhaps, and then maybe move on up to 15. Or if, like me, as you go, sometimes you'll be sat there for an hour or two. Depends how much you've got going on. So why am I encouraging you to sit in peace? Well, it goes on and on, doesn't it? And what that's doing is it's trying to process the world around us. If you think of the voice in your head like another one of your senses, so it takes in information and then it interprets it and feeds it to the mind, and it comes through this prefrontal cortex, which is what decides in a situation, whether it be a mental one, a thought, or something physical that's going on in front of us. It decides if we need to take action, and then it stores that information for making decisions later. So when you are in peace and quiet, you are storing the information in the correct manner. If you don't allow time for peace and quiet and processing, then what happens is a lot of the situations and thoughts that you have end up building up, and then they can actually be filed away in, say, a bit of an incorrect order, so that later down the line you are getting triggered, which is when something happens and it makes you feel anxious or stressed, or you have a bit of a misfiring goes on. So this is what happens when we end up with fatigue, which is when we haven't spent enough time being in peace. So if there's just one daily practice I would like you to adopt from this whole series, is making time for peace and quiet. Now, I know how hard it is to form a new habit, and particularly while I've been developing this series, it's become all too apparent to me how making 15 minutes a day to try something new is actually quite challenging for most of us, because our lives are so busy. So I'm not asking you for 15 minutes a day. It's great. I mean, I'm so proud of you for following along and getting this far, and I would really encourage you to keep up the 15 minutes a day even when this series is over. But just make, if you can, just say 2 minutes in the morning and 2 minutes before bed, where you just sit in silence and allow your thoughts to process. Because otherwise, what happens when we get into bed? We get into bed and we're on the phone, we're reading the book, we're chatting with the partner, we might be listening to music, watching a movie, and then the lights go off, the sound goes off, and what happens? This starts up. So if you can have that quiet time before you go down ready to sleep, when you go to sleep, you actually will be able to drop into slumber, because you're so tired at that point. All day long, you've been busy bringing in new information and processing it. So let's talk a little bit about our circadian rhythms, which is what the pineal gland here is used for, is producing melatonin, which helps to regulate our rhythms. So our rhythms are our sleeping and eating patterns mainly. And what happens when you are tired? Your body starts to slump. All of the systems of your body, the energetic systems which we've been working on aligning through this process, blood, lymph, neurological flow, all just becomes slow and congested when we're tired, which brings about a sluggish system. And if we spend a lot of our time being tired, we are going to find that we get puffy and we just feel lethargic all the time. What we need to do is make sure that we're counteracting our tiredness with enough sleep and also enough movement, because being still is the enemy of your body. And like I've just mentioned, everything gets stagnant, but as well as that, all of the fabrics and the sticky fascia of your body is going to get tense. And so it's just going to feed, and you're going to feel more tired, so you're going to feel less like moving. And this is the epidemic that's going on for society at the moment. So we can look to change your daily practices just a little bit. Don't worry, you don't have to give up coffee. You don't have to go to bed early every night. But let's listen to our body and see if we can organically give it what it needs. So let's look at sleeping and eating in regards to our third eye circadian rhythms, which is a very real concept that you should pay attention to. If you're tired, if you haven't slept enough, you have a deficit in your sleep habits. So most of us require between 6 to 9 hours a night. You will know what is a good rhythm for you, but if we say let's land in the middle at say 7.5 hours a night, if you've had a few nights where you've only had 6 and you need 7.5, then you need to spend a couple of nights making up that deficit as soon as possible. It really can be that simple. If you feel like you've not been eating enough, you have a deficit in the energy and the calories needed to run your body, you can eat a little bit more to build that back up in your body. The idea is once we've cleared these deficits is that then we continue with balance. But life does this, doesn't it? We all know this one. We're coming up, everything's going really well. We maybe overindulge a little bit, everything's great, and then everything might start to slow down or get more stressful, or we just become a bit sleep deprived. And so if you can just think of it like that, if you end up with a deficit, then you can balance that in. And that's what these rhythms are going to be telling you. I need to sleep, I need to eat. So if you have a deficit and you're aware of it, great, you can manage it. The same thing goes if you overindulge, that you can spend a little bit of time maybe fasting a little bit, and you balance out that indulgence. But it might be that you've not got a deficit, and what you've actually got is some habits in place where you're feeling tired and you reach for stimulation. So you're going to grab your coffee or your sugar, and it's going to make you feel better. It's going to give your body that little reward, and it's going to lift you up, and then it's going to crash again, because that's what these stimulus do in our body. So when you are feeling a bit tired, so maybe let's try mid-morning. Let's see if we can leave the coffee and the sugar to the afternoon. Just a thought, don't just tune out from me now I've started mentioning that. I'm not after your coffee. I just know how the caffeine responds in the body as it brings you up, and then it slowly starts to bring you down. So then you need another one. And then throughout the day, they get less and less effective until you just feel kind of wired, but also super tired, and then you don't sleep properly. Anyway, nothing you don't know. So instead of having your morning coffee, try a big glass of water. Quite often we don't drink enough water in the morning. We should drink the majority of our water that we need in the morning. having not drank overnight, we're usually a bit dehydrated. That's one reason why you might be tired. Drink the water. Another one is, let's have a look at the body. The body's been curled up in bed all night, and then the body gets up and gets into the car, and then the body goes to the desk. Yeah, that's a, pretty average person's morning. But what if we were to just lift everything back and squeeze and align? So that's heart above pelvis, head above heart. And we just align ourselves with our desk, and then we take some deep breaths. So we covered in one of the previous videos how our breathing, it was in our heart chapter actually, as we breathe in, we tune into our reactive nervous system. What's going on? What do I need to do? And as we breathe out, we tune into our repairing nervous system, which is everything is calm and safe so I can heal the body. And if our breathing and our heart rate are out of rhythm, this keeps the rhythms of our body flowing beautifully. But we're looking at tuning those rhythms. So if you want to give yourself some more energy, your inhale needs to be a bit longer than your exhale. So we bring up into our reactive space. So what that is like is taking an in breath for say 4, out breath for 2. Don't you feel more energized already? And if one more thing, like we talked about being still for too long, you really wanted to get everything moving, get up and have a bit of a shake. This is better than coffee. The shaking that we've been doing in our movement as medicine practice videos as part of the calligraphy health system, this is going to wake every cell in your body up. Anyway, those are a few ways of which we can look to fine-tune our practices. So we're looking at daily practices. We're not looking at, I must sit down and watch one of Amy's videos for 15 minutes a day and, oh, I don't know how I'm going to find the time, and I'm already doing my regular yoga. Well, do I really need to do this? No, you don't. But there's something in every video with a little bit of wisdom that will serve everybody. I've made sure of that. So it's not tailored for those who already have a daily practice, although it will complement theirs. It's not directed at people who, it's directed for everybody is how I should say it. So if you've never had a daily practice, this is a great way to start. If you've already got a daily practice, this is going to enhance that for you. And if you have you're so busy that you just simply can't fit in any more daily practices, then please just look at the practices you already have. And I'm talking about those habits. Can you make time for peace rather than reading a book before bed? You can do both, but just make a few minutes for peace. Can you have a big glass of water and a little bit of a shake in the morning instead of having your morning coffee? So we're just looking at ways in which you can enhance the way you are. And when we bring it all the way back down to our purpose here, what we are working on is alignment. A healthy body is an energetic body, is a stacked body. So listen to your beautiful body and just heart above pelvis, head above heart. I encourage you after this video, so we just hit 14 minutes, take 1 minute for peace. I'm Amy B. Thank you for joining me in this journey to unity, and I will see you tomorrow where we are moving into the mind, which is the seat of the witness, and I can't wait to bring this to you. It is going to change your life. I'll see you then. With love from me, Amy B.